Chase Maydroth's two-homer night nearly wasn't enough as the Red Sox survived a wild 12-11 slugfest to extend their winning streak to 7, headlining a day packed with big power performances across the league. The Angels topped the Orioles 4-1 in Baltimore, riding a strong bullpen effort to snap out ahead early and never let go. Zach Neto gave Los Angeles the long ball advantage with his solo home run, while Yoel Pozo answered for Baltimore with one of his own, but it wasn't enough to close the gap. Mitch Ferris picked up the win with a clean inning of relief, striking out 2 without allowing a run, and Sammy Natara Jr. slammed the door with a save to lock it down. Baltimore got hits from Dylan Beavers, Tyler O'Neill, Pozo, and Pete Alonso, but couldn't string together enough offense to threaten a comeback. For the Angels, Jose Siri, Nito Moises Ballesteros, Vaughn Grissom, and Wade Meckler all reached base with hits, spreading the offensive workload around. It was a workmanlike win for Los Angeles, built on solid relief pitching rather than one big offensive outburst, while the Orioles lineup managed just enough contact to avoid being shut out. The Reds outlasted the Athletics 6-5 in a slugfest at Great American Ballpark, powering 4 home runs to survive a late scare. Ellie De La Cruz, Sal Stewart, Tyler Stephenson, and J.J. Bleday all went deep for Cincinnati, while Brian Serven countered with a solo shot for Oakland. Andrew Abbott worked into the 7th inning for the win, allowing 3 earned runs while striking out 4, and Brock Burke slammed the door with a clean save. Matt McLain chipped in a stolen base for the Reds, who also got hits from De La Cruz, Stewart, Noelvi Marte, Stephenson, Eugenio Suarez, and Bleday. The win pushed Cincinnati's winning streak to 4 straight games. For Oakland, Lawrence Butler, Tommy White, Jonah Heim, Serven, Max Muncy, Tyler Soderstrom, Jonathan Ornelas, and Henry Bolt all had hits, but it wasn't enough to snap their skid. The Athletics have now lost 7 consecutive games. A 4-homer outburst was ultimately the difference in a game that came down to the final outs. The Mets exploded for 13 runs in a 13-6 rout of the Guardians in Cleveland, backing a dominant start from Nolan McLean with a barrage of extra base hits. McLean struck out 8 over 5 innings to pick up the win despite allowing 5 earned runs, and the offense made sure it didn't matter. Luis Torrens, Marcus Semien, and Francisco Lindor all went deep for New York, while Semien turned in a huge day at the plate, going 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. Carson Bench matched him with a 3 for 6, 1 RBI effort, and Luis Robert Jr. also went 3 for 6. Jared Young swiped 2 bags to round out a well-rounded offensive attack, a line that stands out on the fantasy radar given his stolen base contribution. Nathaniel Lowe answered for Cleveland with a solo home run, and Travis Bazzana added a stolen base, but the Guardians' pitching staff simply couldn't contain the Mets lineup. New York piled up hits up and down the order, turning what was a competitive game early into a laugher by the later innings. Brewers held off the Pirates 5-2 at home, getting home runs from Jackson Chourio and Gary Sanchez to power the offense. Dustin May turned in a strong start, working 6 innings and allowing just 2 earned runs while striking out 5 to earn the win, and Chad Patrick closed things out with a scoreless save. David Hamilton added a stolen base for Milwaukee, which also got hits from Cooper Pratt, Chourio, Andrew Vaughn, Garrett Mitchell, Bryce Turang, and Sanchez. Brandon Lowe answered for Pittsburgh with a solo homer, and the Pirates got additional hits from Spencer Horwitz, Endy Rodriguez, Jake Mangum, and Nick Gonzalez, but couldn't generate enough traffic on the bases to threaten a comeback. It was a clean, efficient win for Milwaukee, built on a strong starting pitching performance and just enough power at the plate to keep the Pirates at arm's length throughout the afternoon. The Cubs edged the Blue Jays 3-2 at Wrigley Field in a game defined by a dominant, ultimately wasted pitching performance from Toronto's Dylan Cease, who struck out 10 over 7 innings but still took the loss. Alex Bregman provided the difference with a solo home run and also swiped a bag, while Pete Crow Armstrong and Seiya Suzuki each added stolen bases as Chicago ran wild on the bases. Trent Thornton picked up the win with a scoreless inning of relief. Toronto got big individual efforts from Andrés Giménez, who went 3 for 4 and stole 2 bases, and Alejandro Kirk, who was 4 for 5 with an RBI. Giménez's 2-steal day is a nice add for fantasy managers hunting speed. Kazuma Okamoto, Luis Urias, and Ernie Clemens also collected hits for the Blue Jays. Despite out-hitting Chicago and getting a stellar effort from their ace, Toronto couldn't push enough runs across, falling to a Cubs team that turned 3 stolen bases and a big fly into a 1-run win. The Tigers demolished the Mariners 11-0 in Seattle, riding a dominant start from Framber Valdez and a balanced offensive attack that piled up runs from top to bottom. Valdez was nearly untouchable, tossing 7 shutout innings while striking out 5 to earn the win. Kevin McGonigal and Dylan Dingler both went deep for Detroit, with Dingler turning in the best individual line of the day at 3 for 6 with 3 RBI. Cole Keith wasn't far behind, going 3 for 5 with 2 RBI, and the Tigers got additional hits from Riley Green, Javier Baez, Spencer Torkelson, Ben Mallory, Gleyber Torres, James Outman, and Max Clark. Seattle's lineup managed to put the ball in play. Weston Wilson, Randy Arozarena, Taylor Ward, Dominic Canzone, Colt Emerson, Julio Rodriguez, and Leo Rivas all had hits but couldn't push a single run across against Valdez and the Tigers' bullpen. It was a complete beatdown from start to finish, with Detroit's offense never letting off the gas in a shutout road win. The Phillies took care of business at home, beating the Nationals 7-3 behind a strong start from Christopher Sanchez, who worked 5 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, and struck out 6 to pick up the win. Philadelphia's lineup was relentless, with Brandon Marsh, Justin Crawford, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, Kyle Schwarber, Trea Turner, and Luis Ariz all recording hits. Every regular in the lineup reached base safely. Washington's lone home run came off the bat of Andrew Pinckney, and the Nationals also got hits from Andres Chaparro, Dylan Cruz, Harry Ford, Jacob Young, and Keibert Ruiz, but it wasn't nearly enough to keep pace with Philadelphia's offensive depth. The Phillies never trailed for long, using their deep, hit-everywhere approach to pull comfortably clear and secure a 4-run win in front of the home crowd at Citizens Bank Park. In one of the wildest games of the season, the Red Sox outlasted the White Sox 12-11 at Fenway Park, extending their winning streak to 7 games in a back-and-forth slugfest that came down to the final outs. Chase Madrath put on a show for Chicago, blasting 2 home runs and driving in 4 runs on a 3 for 5 night, while Sam Ananachi added a 3 for 5, 2 RBI effort of his own. Madrath's 2-homer game is exactly the kind of streaming-worthy fantasy line managers dream about. But Boston had answers everywhere. Connor Wong went deep, Caleb Durbin went 3 for 6 with an RBI, and Andrew Monasterio kept his hit streak alive at 7 straight games with another knock. Brian Bello worked 2 scoreless innings in relief to pick up the win. Seth and Rafaela stole a base for Boston, while Brenton Doyle and Miguel Vargas each swiped bags for Chicago. 9 different Red Sox batters recorded hits, and the White Sox weren't far behind with contributions from Tristan Peters, Randall Grichuk, Carlson Montgomery, Braden Montgomery, and Andrew Benintendi. In the end, Boston's offense and its bullpen did just enough to hang on, riding the high-scoring win to a 7th straight victory and keeping the hottest team in baseball rolling. The Braves blew past the Marlins 11-3 at home, riding a 2-homer night from Ronald Acuna Jr. and a solo shot from Matt Olson to extend their winning streak to 7 straight games. Michael Harris Roman too went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI, and Mauricio Juban was even better, going a perfect 4 for 4 with 2 RBI and a stolen base. Victor Medeiros picked up the win with 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen, striking out 3. Atlanta's lineup was deep all night, with Harris, Dubon, Drake Baldwin, Olson, Dominic Smith, Acuna, and Lane Thomas all collecting hits. Miami got a fight out of Griffin Canine, Javier Sonoja, Xavier Edwards, Kyle Stowers, Agustin Ramirez, Leo Jimenez, and Otto Lopez, all of whom had hits, but the Marlins pitching couldn't slow down an Atlanta offense that's now rolling. Acuna's 2-homer effort stands out as one of the day's premier fantasy performances, capping a dominant win that keeps the Braves squarely among the hottest teams in baseball. The Twins edged the Royals 4-3 on the road, getting a go-ahead solo home run from Royce Lewis, who extended his hit streak to 7 straight games in the process. Cody Funderburk picked up the win with a scoreless inning, and Yohanrys Gomez closed it out with a clean save. Bobby Witt Jr. had a big day for Kansas City, going 3 for 4 and stealing a base, but he didn't get enough help around him to complete the comeback. The Royals also got hits from Carter Jensen, Josh Rojas, Salvador Perez, and Jack Caglianon. Minnesota's offense was steady rather than spectacular, with Brooks Lee, Austin Martin, Josh Bell, Alan Rodin, Lewis, Trevor Larnach, and Luke Kershaw all reaching base with hits. It was a tight, low-scoring affair decided by Lewis's power and a shutdown effort from the Twins' bullpen down the stretch. The Padres beat the Diamondbacks 5-1 in Arizona, getting a strong relief effort from Bradley Rodriguez, who worked 2 scoreless innings to earn the win. San Diego's offense was led by Luis Rengifo, who went 3 for 5, with additional hits coming from Freddie Fermin, Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ty France, Xander Bogaerts, and Jake Cronenworth. 8 different Padres reached base with a hit. Arizona's best individual effort came from Gabriel Moreno, who went 3 for 4 with an RBI for the lone Diamondbacks' run production of note, and the team also got hits from Tim Tawa, Lars Nootbaar, Kettle Marte, Corbin Carroll, and Max Kepler. Neither team hit a home run, and the game was defined more by steady contact than power up and down both lineups, with San Diego's pitching staff keeping Arizona off balance enough to secure a comfortable road win and improve their record on the trip. 2 teams are riding serious heat. The Red Sox have won 7 straight after their wild 12-11 win over the White Sox, and the Braves matched that with their own 7th consecutive victory in a blowout of the Marlins. On the individual side, Andrew Monasterio extended his hit streak to 7 straight games for Boston, while Royce Lewis matched him with a 7th straight game with a hit, punctuated by a go-ahead homer for the Twins. Fantasy managers had plenty to monitor. Chase Maydroth mashed 2 homers and drove in 4 for the White Sox, while Ronald Acuna Jr. matched him with a 2-homer night for the Braves. Both easy must-starts off today's box score. On the speed side, Jared Young swiped 2 bags for the Mets, and Andrés Giménez matched him with 2 steals for the Blue Jays, giving category-needy managers options. Parson Benj also turned in a strong multi-hit game, going 3 for 6 with an RBI for New York. That's a wrap on today's action. Hit subscribe so you never miss a recap of the game's biggest moments.